Alright everybody, Sawyer Reacts here, and I just got done watching the premiere for Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger. It was a 2-hour premiere, basically the first 2 episodes put together, and it was pretty good. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I didn't have very high expectations going into this premiere. I mean, I vaguely know anything about the franchise. Like, it's a very little known comic. I mean, I wouldn't say, I guess I wouldn't say super little known, but it's definitely not a high tier comic like Iron Man or Spider-Man or anything like that. It's definitely one of Marvel's C-listers or B-listers, probably more C-lister, honestly. And but it was an interesting idea for a TV show. I think that's why they went with it, because I think it fits pretty well in the TV show atmosphere. And so it's on the Freeform channel, which is a cable channel. And I checked it out, and I was surprised by how decent it was. Basically, it's a story. It's essentially the story of this black guy, and this white girl, and how they both have they both come from different sides of the spectrum. The girl is she's born into like a family that has, or her dad has some money because he works for a Roxxon company, which, if you're familiar with comic books, is a famous evil corporation in the comics. It's always doing like shady shit. And the guy, he's basically just a kid that lives, that's kind of trying to make it. His older brother gets involved with like a crime, and the older brother decides he's going to back out and not do it, but the younger brother wants to impress his older brother, and Tyrone, one of the main characters. So he goes and gets involved in it, and basically what happens is, in the first like 20-30 minutes, it's setting up this whole story. We see that these two characters, the little girl and the kid, as they're both children at this time, probably like 10 or 11 years old, something like that, their paths cross in a very unexpected way, in a very dangerous way. They both lose somebody important to them in that moment, and it's a very defining moment for both characters. And their power, and at that moment, there's a Roxxon rig or whatever, because it's like an oil company, and it blows up, and somehow something that was on that rig comes out and it hits them because they're both in the water, and it basically gives them powers. But the power is kind of dormant for years and years and years, until they become like adults is when the powers come out and start manifesting. So basically, what happened, the powers come out one time when they're kids, basically save each other's lives, and then they never see each other again until the present day. So it's really a story of destiny, really a story of conquering your fears, trying to contain your demons, not let them rule you. It has a lot of good morals, a lot of good life lessons thrown in there, And one thing I did like about it was the way it's shot. It's on Freeform, which is a channel that's not really very well known, and it's not really known for its like super quality, high concept shows. It's more of like it's just not known for that kind of stuff. So to see this show on there is just interesting, and shot, to me, it was shot very well. There's a lot of really dark, overtones and dark shots and stuff, and the atmosphere is very dark, but there are shivers of hope and and light in there, and it's very interesting how it kind of fluctuates, because the girl, she ends up falling really down in her grace. She starts becoming a pillhead, and just it's very interesting to see the downward spiral of her. But at the same time, we see Tyrone. He's trying to pick himself up from all the stuff he's going on in his life, and he's trying to get higher. It's basically like he's slowly trying to build a life for himself, and an identity for himself, while Candy, she's basically always running from her problems. She keeps spiraling deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And it's really interesting to see how they keep meeting up randomly, and how their powers interact when they do meet up. And that's half the fun of the show, is seeing these two dynamics kind of spiral from different ways. And it's really interesting to see. The power sets are cool too, because Tyrone, his power set, am I saying that right? Is it Tyrone or Tyrese? I think it's Tyrese. No, it's Tyrone. I think it's Tyrone. But it's interesting how his powers are basically teleportation, and that's half the fun of the show, is watching them both try to figure out how their powers work. Because every time he puts a blanket over himself, he teleports randomly when he goes to bed. Like, he'll go to bed, put a blanket over, and fall asleep, and he wakes up, he's somewhere different. And that's really fun to watch that go on for a while. And it's also a nod to the comic books, because in the comic books he wears a cloak all the time. He's always shrouded in cloth. In Dagger, Candy, she keeps like realizing she has these light powers. She can like create light, and she can kind of like form it into solid objects, which she makes into a knife to protect herself in one scene, which is pretty cool. And it's interesting because they also have the ability to basically, when they touch somebody, they can like project memories like from that person. And what's interesting is that Candy, she can project the good memories of that she has or people have, and Tyrone, he can like project really dark memories, like the most tragic things that's ever happened, which is really interesting how that kind of goes. Which is just reinforcing the whole concept that they're light and dark. That it's lightness and darkness coming together, which is kind of really spot on because of the fact that Tyrone is black and Candy's white, so it's really kind of like on the nose. But that's the way the comic was written back in the '70s. So I mean, you gotta give it that. Um, but that's kind of a cool concept. And it also deals with a lot of there's a whole revenge storyline with Tyrese and trying to hunt down this guy that did him a wrong in the past, and it's really interesting. I liked it. I liked it a lot. A few things I didn't like about it. There's a lot of musical montages, and most of them work for the most part, but there are a couple of montages that just feel kind of on the nose and like they're trying too hard to convey emotion to the audience. And the show does get kind of emotional at times. There was a few scenes where I was like, man, this is some powerful stuff. One in particular is where like Tyrese is having a conversation, or Tyrone. I keep saying different names. I'm just call him Cloak from now on. So Cloak is having a conversation with his mom, and he's basically getting mad because she's always on his case about doing the right thing or whatever. And he's like, Mom, I feel like even if I do everything right, no, what's he say? He's like, I feel like if I don't do everything right, you're gonna get mad at me, or you're afraid you're gonna lose me. I forget exactly how it goes. And the mom, basically breaks down and she responds with, "Honey, I'm afraid that even if you do everything right, everything perfect, I'm still gonna lose you." And it's a really powerful line. The way it's still delivered and the way it resonates, it's a very powerful line because in the type of situation they're in, it's very true that he doesn't have a whole lot of control on what's happening, and so in the way the world around him is, it's like anything could happen. It's very interesting how that works. I thought that was a great line, and I really enjoyed it. Some main thing and one of the main things I really like about the show so far in the first two episodes is that a lot of times in shows like this or movies or whatever, you see a lot of character growth in a short amount of time, like a lot of character growth. Like the character basically makes a 360, not 360, but they basically make like they go from 1 to 10 on the scale of progression within like just a few episodes or a few hours if we're a movie. In this show, they don't make hardly any progression. They try, but they just don't make it. Like at the end of the 2-part episode, Candy is still the same character that she is at the beginning, and I really like that. And so is Tyrone, or Cloak. It's really interesting how they did that. Like, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's basically one of Candy's defining characteristics is that she always runs away from everything. And at the end of the 2-part episode, she's running away again, and I just loved it. I love how it was like the obvious thing would have been to just be like, I'm going to stand my ground and I'm going to conquer my fears. But no, not this early, not this early. She just runs away. So I really love that. I love that. It's it feels real to me that there's not going to be that overnight evolution of the characters. And so all in all, I think it's a decent show. We'll see how it goes. I thought it was better than I was expecting, to be honestly. So if you haven't checked it out, give Cloak and Dagger a try. It's on Freeform, and if today's any indication, it's gonna come on Thursday night. So yeah, check it out, guys.